Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Good evening to you as we come live to you from Cold Lake, Alberta this evening, waiting Canada Day tomorrow to get the festivities underway. Obviously, the Oilers didn't waste much time today getting the festivities underway, buying out Jack Campbell, and of course making no real news. That's the kind of concerning part here for the Oilers. I think that leads to the question in the title you're seeing. Will the Oilers make a big splash in free agency this year? Simply because, well, you look at the math here for the Oilers. No Yanmark signed. I know there was rumors about Connor Brown being signed, but I don't think we've seen anything official from the Edmonton Oilers as of yet. At the same rate as well, we really haven't seen any news on Vinny Desharnais. We haven't seen much news on anyone except for Calvin Pickard of the main roster from the Cup Finals team. So yes, Carter Savoy and I believe Ryan Fanti were not qualified offers this year. So that's, again, two more guys off the farm kind of freed up. And don't forget as well, you've got a situation where you've freed up kind of a cap space situation for the Oilers with buying out Jack Campbell. So that's where we're at right now for the Oilers. As I think those are fireworks going off, friends. All right, game on. I was trying to figure out what the noise was. That would be fireworks going off here in the neighborhood. But I guess to get to it where we're already going is for the Oilers, you buy out Jack Campbell. You save this year 3.9 or some kind of weird number. I know it's not quite $4 million against cap. So with that for the Oilers, you end up saving some money on Jack Campbell, which means now you got a little bit more cap space for this year than you were counting on. And oh, by the way, you've also got a situation where you've got Calvin Pickard at a fixed cost to be your backup this year, and you can bury him if Ollie Rodriguez decides to come up. I think the Oilers' goaltending with Stuart Skinner's performance in the playoffs and another year under his belt before the next one is good enough to show you can run it back for the Edmonton Oilers this year. I think as well you've seen Jeff Jackson. He's kind of been very quick with the moves so far he's made in these few days as their interim general manager of the Edmonton Oilers. So when you talk about that big splash, whether you want to talk about maybe trading somebody off the back end like Cody Ceci or Brett Kulak, whether you want to talk about signing Jake DeBrusk, right? There's guys out there in the market now for the Oilers that are available that are in your price range now. I know there was rumors throughout the draft that maybe Evander Kane's been asked to waive his no trade clause. That, of course, we'll await to see what happens tomorrow. But again, the fact that we haven't signed a Matthias Janmark, we haven't signed a Connor Brown, we haven't signed a Warren Fogle yet, that kind of concerns me to some degree that the Oilers might not be looking to run it back with the exact same team and maybe hoping that those guys, after with Janmark, 2 years of it, it's something Patrick and I from the Oilers Fanatic there always talk about is just simply the Oilers don't need to rush out and sign Matthias Janmark. If Matthias Janmark wants to be an Edmonton Oilers player, he will sign the contract at the right time once the team knows it's fixed costs because he's not a player you need to sign day one of free agency. Right? I mean, fantastic playoffs and all. His season did not warrant a $1.25 million contract day one of free agency. So for the Oilers, in that right in that front kind of deal is just for right now, you got to take care of if you are targeting a big piece. I know we're heavily linked to Jake Brusk just over the past several years. I think as well, there's a lot of talk for the Oilers about this or that and the other thing. And when it comes down to it, you got to look at all options on the table. Things kick off here at what 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, so there's going to be a lot of fun to be had once we get through pancake breakfast here in Cold Lake, and obviously getting back to you live here on the channel. But it's just kind of crazy to me right now. We've seen a lack thereof moves. Yes, the tendered qualifying offers for the Oilers there, so they've got all their regular cast and crew that are kind of percolating down on the farm. They've got those guys waiting in the wings. They've got them locked up, at least in terms of RFA rights. And now all of a sudden we'll see what the Oilers do in unrestricted free agency, opening at noon Eastern tomorrow. But it's just kind of right. I think there's a big splash to be had. We've seen a lot of smoke. We were talking about trading Jack Campbell right up until the last moment of buying him out. So it's not like Jeff Jackson isn't exhausting all options right now. It's not like he's not trying to improve this team and, in fact, build a juggernaut that should be able to, unlike last year, this year now under Chris Knobloch, run through the regular season, get into the playoffs, and do damage. You could argue even that LA series, given what we saw with the Edmonton Oilers in the second round series, fighting back against the Canucks, third round against the Dallas Stars, and fourth round against the Florida Panthers in the Cup final in games 4 through 6. That Oilers team should have ran through Los Angeles right quick, no questions about it. Beat them down, 4 games straight, done and dusted. So, not saying that's how it played out or how it really would, but I'm just saying that with building a new team and what this team accomplished under Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Chris Knoblauch, and the rest of the cast and crew had this year, you make some changes, you make some additions. You got to be kidding me if you don't think this Edmonton Oilers team isn't capable of much, much more going in. And I think that's what Jeff Jackson knows about this team, having kind of been only able to do what he was able to do this past season. We're still fighting with a couple of things on the roster. Now you buy out Jack Campbell, and bingo, you've got $3.9 million of cap space. The cap's going up 3 point some odd dollars. And oh, by the way, as well, you've got the situation with Connor Brown earning a contract to be a member next year. So, again, whether he signs or not, he's earned that deal to come back. So, at 775, he is truly, as he should be, a $4 million player this year. And you kind of end up costing that out a little bit more if you get the um, right Connor Brown instead of the guy that was still needing to get his legs under him from last year. So that's where we're currently sitting at, friends. For the Oilers, it's just kind of about they've made the moves they need to. They got a prospect, right? A first rounder, which is huge. Whether he becomes a trade chip at the deadline next year or he becomes a piece of this team down the road, right? Another Sam from the London Knights. Hey, we turned one into a great career. Let's not hesitate to do it again, I would say. But for the Oilers, business has been done throughout this past 3 days. I know I've been keeping you up to date with everything. Obviously, schedule's been tough up here visiting, but for the Oilers, it's definitely now go time tomorrow. And I really want to see what they have in mind. I think it is truly, if you're asking me, Jake DeBrusk, yeah, we've been talking about it for years now. I think it only makes all too much sense. Louis here. Obviously, it's the hometown connection to the Oilers. It's everything. You got to bring in Jake. That's really the only way I see why you would buy out Jack Campbell ultimately instead of maybe even wait to trade him. And I don't see why you wouldn't as well bring back Connor Brown, bring back Matthias Janmark, but those are later in free agency. I think Connor Brown gets done tomorrow if he is coming back, but Matthias Janmark, I expect, would be a guy we wait on a little bit and wait to see and figure out what he's kind of his other offers are to see where we have to ballpark ourselves. And I think as well, Warren Fogle, again, if you sign Jake DeBrusk, he's gone. Even if you trade Evander Kane, he's gone because you've got Raphael Lavoie. You've got a couple other people down on the farm like James Hamblin. So it's kind of one of those situations where there's a lot of guys in the Oilers system that are ready for a little bit more of an increased role. And in the first 2 months of the season, as we saw last year, you have time for that. You're allowed to allow for that. And the Oilers are good enough to win despite that. So whatever the case ends up being here tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it again. I'm looking forward to the pancake breakfast. I'm looking forward to the parade here in Cold Lake. And I'm looking forward to cap off what's been an absolute wonderful, wonderful trip up here to Cold Lake. So, friends, thanks for being aboard here. Late night edition. I got 40 of you hanging out on the living room couch with me. I mean, been a long time since we did that. So, we'll catch you tomorrow. Obviously, free agency opens 10 a.m. in Canada tomorrow. So, stay tuned. I guess I should say Alberta, not Canada. But we'll stay tuned and see where this one takes us throughout the next 24 hours. Thanks for being aboard. We will catch you tomorrow with some Cold Lake content, a little bit of fireworks live stream possibly, and from there we'll rock and roll into July 2nd. Thanks for being aboard, friends.